This is the High School Football America podcast for August the 13th, 2019. I'm Jeff Fisher. All right, we're heading to the state of Wisconsin, the home of the Packers, land of the Packers. And we're going to talk Pacelli Cardinal football here in Stevens Point when we put out our little retweet contest asking coaches to retweet a tweet, and they'd get an opportunity to come on here and promote their kids, their coaches, their program, and the school and the community itself. Drew Nelson was the guy that was able to do that. He was one of the first five, and we're going to talk some Pacelli Cardinals football with him right now. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Great. I appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, well, you're going to put on your ambassador hat, Chamber of Commerce hat, whatever. I know Stevens Point's in the middle part of Wisconsin, but I want you to explain a little bit of location so the people around the nation understand where you are. And then more importantly, tell us a little bit about how high school football fits into the fabric of your school there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're about an hour and a half west of Green Bay, about 2 hours south of the Upper Peninsula border. So, we're central Wisconsin, but we're a little bit offset to the east. Stevens Point's got about 27,000 people. And then if you take the surrounding cities like Plover, Wisconsin, Whiting, Park Ridge, those surrounding communities, our population's right around 35,000. Stevens Point Pacelli, our school, we got about 180 kids out, for the school, in the high school. As far as how football drives the community, I always kind of preach to the kids, it's a way to kick off the school year. We're the first sport to get started. We're the first sport to get some games in, and we can really drive the school. And, if we set up to have a successful season, the school year can be a special year, and it kind of drives, the rest of the sports too. That, hey, we started the school year successful. Football does good stuff, and volleyball does good stuff, and cross country and all those fall sports. It really sets the kids up good for the whole year to carry through for the winter and spring sports.
Talking to Drew Nelson, the head coach at Pacelli in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, talking a little Wisconsin football. So we're also going to allow you to be the spokesperson for all of Wisconsin, because we don't get the show to come to Wisconsin all that much. So in general, tell me a little bit about where the state of high school football is in the Badger State.
It's one of those that I think kind of cross-country numbers are up in some and down in others. But overall, I think we're a pretty steady state. We have limited contact through the summer, which I think keeps our kids refreshed. We get the 5 contact days through the summer, and then we have, the dead period until August. This year was till August 6th. So we've got that. And, we always kind of look at it, from the Midwestern standpoint of, hey, we're going to play sound defense. We're going to be, aggressive. Our offense may not be as, a spread type situations you're going to see in different areas, different parts of the country. But, we pride ourselves in the hard work, in the white collar, the blue collar, mentality of, hey, we're going to bring our lunch buckets to work every day and get this job done. So.
All right. Well, I'm a Pennsylvania boy at heart, born and raised there, and I always tell people as I move around the country, we're still trying to figure out how to throw the football. So I appreciate that blue collar approach to things. All right, let's dive into the program a little bit. You took over in 2015, and tell me a little bit about what your thumbprint is on a football program. Are you a defensive guy, an offensive guy? Tell me a little bit about that, and let the listeners know what you guys are all about there with the Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right now this year, I came into Pacelli back, actually, my first year was in 2006 as an assistant coach, and just kind of how things transpired, was able to, kind of work my way up. And then we had, we had a longtime coach, Bob Bracek, that was here for 50 some years. He's number 3 all time in the state in wins, loss, all time wins. And he passed away, and then his son took over for a year or two, and then I took over from there. So, it's kind of following in legend footsteps, which is fun. It's also got its challenges at the time. We still run the same offense that he ran. Defense has changed a little bit. Like I said, I'm a defensive guy, kind of worked my way up, that ladder. I'll be actually taking back over the defensive coordinator role this year for the first time as being a head coach as well. So I'm excited about that, calling some plays, getting my hands dirty again here. And, we'll see what happens on Friday night. So.
Well, I've had the pleasure in the past in my neck of the woods back in Pennsylvania. Speaking of Pennsylvania earlier, is a very small Catholic school there, and one of the beauties of that specific program, it was named Pius X. It's not even there anymore. The diocese closed it down. But the point I was going to make is a lot of the assistant coaches were guys that went through the program. They were alums. They came back and gave back. What type of situation do you have there? Because you are a smaller school. Do you have a similar situation there where you have a lot of the alums that stick around?
Well, right now our offense coordinator played at Pacelli, obviously graduated from Pacelli, and then has lived around the area. So he's been here for, I think, 25 years, something like that. He played in as coaching at the school. I didn't actually grow up here. I grew up in Westby, Wisconsin, which is a little town south of La Crosse, Wisconsin. My wife and I moved up here in about 2004. Got in, like I said, got in. The other assistant coaches, we've got another teacher on staff, but he didn't graduate from Pacelli. So right now, honestly, we've only got one teacher or one staff member that graduated from Pacelli. But all the guys, the guys that are on staff, one of my main assistant coaches, Eugene Schmitz, his son played for 4 years for us, and worked through the system. So he's been around. He gets, he knows. And then we've got a couple first-year guys that, are learning the ropes, and but they're doing a great job so far.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not always the case. I just thought I'd throw it out there. Talking Pacelli football with Drew Nelson. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, and no, it seems to be, that case too. But, yeah, we've had some staff turnover and that kind of stuff. So, when I first came, we had a lot of dads and stuff on staff that had kids go through the system or may have went through the system. But on the last, 5, 6, 7 years, we've had some turnover, that kind of stuff. So and it's changed a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got the tradition there, like you said, the coach for a long time. What when you're out there putting together your staff, what are some of the things you look for? We've got so many coaches that listen to this show, young and old. You can always learn a new trick, even though they say you can't teach a dog a new trick, I guess. But what are some of the things you look for when you're out there talking to guys that want to come into the coaching profession and be a part of the Pacelli program?
Yeah, obviously the first thing you look for is guys that are enthusiastic and guys that want to be there. Guys that are there for the kids and not for their own personal glory. And if you can find that, and then you can kind of work with that. And I don't want guys that always agree with me either. My decision as a head coach, should be final, that kind of stuff. But I want guys that kind of challenge me and contest my thought process and how I think about things. Because I don't want, I want the program to be a whole school-wide system, and I want everybody to take pride in what they're doing. I don't want to be the guy that micromanages everything. I want these guys to make decisions and feel empowered to make decisions.
Makes sense. Pacelli Cardinal football here, Stevens Point, Wisconsin, on the podcast. And camp getting open, and probably got some boxes you want to check there before we get to the kids by name. What are some of the things you and your staff are hoping to accomplish during fall camp?
Yeah, obviously, we got to get our offense and defense and stuff installed. Special teams, another third of the game. We get something like 16 practices before the first game. So, we get, some time to install, and like I said, with the kids knowing our offense, the guys that have been here, that seems to go in a little bit quicker. Defensively, we're going to have some changes this year. So if we can hit some, benchmarks in that, we'll be okay come week one when we hit the road.
All right, let's get some of the kids in here by name. Who are some of the kids coming back that you expect some things from, not only on the field, but in the leadership roles?
Yeah, so last year we were in a different conference. We were in what's called the Central Wisconsin Large Conference, and this year we get moved to the Central Wisconsin Small Conference. So last year in the bigger conference, we had one of our defensive linemen, his name is Shane Treba. He was second team all conference, just put up some pretty amazing stats, considering the fact, we were 2-7 overall as a team. What he did individually, and as part of the team concept was pretty special. So I expect him to have a really good year from, defensive line wise. And then we got some really good, skill guys. Wes Poplinski coming back as a junior. We're going to move him out wide, hopefully get him the ball a little bit. And we got some pretty good tailbacks, some good fullbacks in Tyson Krieger and Nick Schrader, and then Bryson Cashin. Side note, Bryson Cashin's dad actually is our school's all-time leading rusher. So there's some history there. I think his grandpa's even on the list, and so are both his uncles. So there's a little family history there, and I assume there's a little bit of competitiveness at Thanksgiving suppers or whatever it might be. But he's a great kid, and we got a good quarterback in Drew Kadrevich coming back as a sophomore as well. So Across the board, we got some good kids. Mason Wallace is our offensive line leader. He's only a junior, so, we're going to be fairly young. But the seniors that we do have, Henry Basala, Andrew Pizarski, good kids, good leaders. Right now we've got, from freshman to senior, we've got 26 kids out. But we've got 26 kids that want to play football, and we've got 26 kids that all get along together. So the first 2 days of fall camp have been really special. We can really see how they're interacting, how they're including, even incoming freshmen that, those freshmen are a little nervous, obviously, getting to know these older guys, that kind of stuff. But everybody seems to be getting along, which is a huge thing because, if you get the little disruption in camp or the kids don't get along, that kind of stuff, it can make for a long day. But far, it seems like everybody gets along. And, I think our team stuff is going to be really good. We're going to be a really special team here with how we get along and how kids believe in each other. So
quality over quantity with that number there, right? You gotta make sure the injury bug doesn't get you. That's for sure. You got a lot of kids playing both ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna have kids that have to play pretty much every snap of every game. So they take pride in the conditioning aspect, in the weight training during the hopefully during the off season, and then we lift a little bit during practice too. So they seem to push themselves and they do a good job of holding each other accountable during conditioning. Knowing that, hey, we might have 160 snaps a game, and there's going to be kids that have to play the 160 snaps, and they get that and they understand that, and that's kind of the way it's been since I took over in 2015. You just kind of preach, hey, mental toughness, that kind of stuff, and fighting through a little bit of here and there, a little bit of adversity, and these kids seem to really buy into it, really pride themselves in doing that, and I think we're going to be okay.
Little adversity never hurt anyone is my motto. That's for sure. Drew Nelson on the line. As I said, you retweeted the tweet, getting the opportunity. I've taken the listeners on a little journey with you here. So I turn over the last part to you in general. Anything I missed? What should people around the nation know about what you and your staff and your program are all about there?
Yeah, like I said, hey, we're hardworking. We're going to be ready for every game. Our kids are going to be well coached up. They're going to be ready for every game. And switching into this new conference, it gives us a little bit of excitement, a little bit of energy, and we might be small in numbers, but, we're going to give everything we got. And when you come play Pacelli, you're going to remember that you played us. We have the family mentality, and nobody really cares who gets their name in the paper, who gets their picture in the paper. Right now, it's all about what can I do to serve the team and what can I do to be the best teammate that I can be. So it's pretty special, pretty cool. Kids fight constantly with, for us, for each other, in a good, positive way, obviously. And they have that never give up mentality. So, when you come play us or we come play you, you're going to remember that. So
well said. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us on the show tonight, and best of luck in 2019.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything you do for high school football, and go Cards.
And we'll have another winner from our Twitter contest coming up tomorrow. We'll head to the state of Washington. Mike Peck from Prairie High School. You can listen to the High School Football America podcast many ways other than here on highschoolfootballamerica.com. Tune into us on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, and Stitcher, and many, many more. I'm Jeff Fisher, and you've been listening to the High School Football America podcast.